Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsockеtradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It is Coffee Ann here on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday morning. It is the first day of summer. Hooray. It's June 20th. And I'm Joe Callahan. That's Bob Lotter right over there. Good morning to you, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Good to have you here. And Sue Tessier-McKenzie's here. Hi, Sue.
Good morning.
Nice to have Sue with us as well. Well, Bob.
Wait a minute.
Before
we go into that,
yeah.
I don't know how you can actually come into the studio today holding your head up.
What have I done?
Because out in the other business office is your younger brother.
Yes.
And your younger brother, before the Boston Celtics, when you predicted they're going to win it in 4,
Who
said,
predicted 5?
You
Kevin out in the other room.
Yeah.
As did I.
And so Sue and your younger brother were both right.
I told you he's smarter than this. The sports.
And you have to, if this had happened to me, man, I'd be sitting in the corner weeping. I'd just be crying because I was bested by my younger brother. But, there's a but.
Okay.
The but is, I have something that may make you feel a wee bit better.
Oh, what's that?
Okay. Remember the Bar Association convention last Thursday and Friday?
You got together with your lawyer friends.
Yeah, got together with the lawyer friends. Volunteer lawyer program had a raffle. The raffle included tickets to a Boston Red Sox game.
Ah.
You'll never guess who won.
You?
Yes. I have no knowledge of Boston Red Sox. I don't want to go and
at Fenway Park,
expand my level of inexperience and have even more people outside of the listening area of WOON know how stupid I am. So I'm bringing in the material and giving you the Boston Red Sox tickets
so
that you can go and have a good time and maybe feel a little bit better after a younger brother bests. Oh God, man. That is so sad. It's just
yes. But if I go out there right now and say, "Hey, his name's Kevin," I'll ask you two. What was the name of the actor that played Sergeant Carter in Gomer Pyle, USMC? See, I know the answer to that.
And he does not.
And he probably won't because he's too young. And you guys are looking at me like deer in the headlights, and you don't know the answer either. So
who cares?
This is important information when you show up when I go on Jeopardy. I got to know this information.
Okay.
His name is Frank Sutton, by the way.
Okay.
So there you go.
I thought it was Joe Flynn, but all right.
No, that's McHale's Navy.
Oh, right.
That's that wrong show.
Hey. No,
well,
I
thanks,
have
Bob.
the material here.
That's
after
fantastic.
After the show, we can talk about how to get them.
Very good. So, because the Celtics won, and we were only off by one game.
One game.
Would you like to go to the parade today in Boston? Only a million
tomorrow.
of our no, it's
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. You're right. It's tomorrow.
He doesn't even know
only
that.
of our million of our closest friends will be there.
Well,
in this heat and humidity.
Oh, God, Lord.
In the city of Boston.
If I was as excited about the Celtics as the two of you are,
Hold up.
what?
Two of you meaning him and Kevin, because I only said 5 because he said 4, and I ended up correct. It wasn't because I have any knowledge. It wasn't because I had any knowledge about, well, maybe they'll throw game 4 so they can win it on the 17th in Boston, in the home ground. I didn't know any of that.
Good conspiracy theory, though.
That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah. So anyway, they're expecting 1 million people in the city.
Fantastic.
Tomorrow to watch the people up on the duck boats as it parades through the city of Boston. But they always say this because 1 million people are coming in on top of the people that already come in for work, but they don't want you to drive in due to lack of parking. They want you to use the T.
Okay.
Well, what happens on events like this, and it's happened in the past, is when 1 million people they're not expecting to show up to ride the buses and the subways, there's always somewhere a breakdown.
Of course there is.
And the T just stops working. And can you imagine being on the Green Line, stuck in a tunnel with no AC, with 1,000 of your closest friends in those tiny little cars?
Can't even.
Now, it may not happen.
Well, hopefully it won't. But things have been known to happen in that manner.
Yes.
And you know, you always hear well, it's so hot. That's why this happened.
Well, okay. And they
So
always
it's like
come
a
out why it happened.
catch-22.
I understand why it happened, but
It still happened.
It still shouldn't
Yeah.
happen. And people, and you hear about it. People never get to the parade because they're stuck on a T. They're stuck on a train. So
I am so
I
happy
won't-
that my
the upside is
enthusiasm is not that high.
The upside is I'm not.
Right.
I won't be going.
You're not
So,
going?
no.
Well, yeah, you
I don't
did
go to-
lose
I
the
don't-
bet.
I don't
Yeah.
go to these things. So.
Okay.
And I'll catch the highlights. Oh, there they are on the duck boat. There's Jason Tatum holding the trophy, waving to the crowd. He's one of the players, Bob.
Yep.
Waving to the crowd. There's someone else. There's Porzingis. Can't miss him. He's 7'2".
Right?
Have you
And
ever
there he is waving to the crowd. Okay.
Have you ever ridden on one of the duck boats?
Actually, I have.
Yeah, they're fun.
You can take them for tours around city. And it takes you on the streets and then into the water. And it's pretty cool that these.
Did they take it in the
amphibious-
water with this tour? No.
No, well, they did with the Red Sox.
Oh, okay.
But from what I see, the tour is Causeway Street, so it's really not near the water.
The water, yeah,
so I
near
don't
the
think
waterfront.
so. And it goes to City Hall, so unless they rerouted the route, so but not,
Yeah, right.
I don't think it's going in the water, so nothing to worry about. I'm sure you watched the game, right, Bob?
What?
That would be no. So it ended at 11 o'clock. It was not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Good.
all right.
Good.
Well, they won, and I'm happy about that. So that was good stuff. So let's see other things going on. You heard about the big 911 outage
Yes.
in
Yes.
Massachusetts a couple
Yes.
days ago. Well, they came out and they said, well, we're blaming it's a computer problem. It's basically what. Well, I knew that going in. It was a firewall situation, and the firewall began blocking calls to dispatch Tuesday afternoon. The good news is the dispatchers could see the phone numbers that were coming up on their computer screens, so they know where the calls were originating from. They just couldn't talk to the people. So when they were able to cut off the call, and then the dispatchers were able to call the people back.
I was just going to say, were they able to at least call them
Yes.
back?
Sorry, the system's not working correctly, but what's your emergency? Well,
Right.
now we can take it from here.
Right.
So, okay. The system was down for about 2 hours, and state officials did come out and say there were no reports of emergencies that were not addressed. They also said it was not a cyber attack why this took place.
That's
That's what they're saying officially.
Yeah. I hope they're right on that because it
Well,
would be
yeah.
pretty disastrous otherwise. I was driving the car coming back from Providence, though, when the first alert came on, and the telephone gives this
Oh, yeah.
very
it'd be like,
loud.
what's
And
happened?
at first, I couldn't figure out what is that noise.
Yeah.
And then I looked at it, and, oh, wow. But,
And then, being the Mass resident, we got it a few more times.
okay.
Almost every hour. It is still going on. And then when it was over, okay, now it's over. And so the alarms go off on your phone. Well, I mentioned this yesterday. What bugged me about it is I would get alerts from my town, from the fire and the police, also saying that 911 is down, and you should call us. You should call us on a direct number if you have an emergency.
Did it give you the
And
direct number?
never put what the direct number was. I said people don't have the fire department and the police department number memorized anymore.
Right, now
Because
that they used
they
to.
use 911.
Yeah.
And maybe
Also-
they do in Woonsocket. It's a very easy number, 762-1212. Okay, that's easy. But I don't know my police department's phone number because I use 911 if I
And
had
you
if I
can't
had to.
really look it up in the phone book because the
There
phone
is no
books
phone
are,
book.
yeah.
I guess if I really had to, I could go online and find it.
Okay.
But I didn't do that either.
I'm
So
glad you didn't have an emergency.
I didn't have
Good.
an emergency, so things went okay on that day. So we got something coming up today. And it's going to happen, if you're listening in live, it'll happen at 9 o'clock this morning. So right after Coffee Ann goes off, Lifespan President and CEO John Fernandez and Brown University President Christina Paxton are calling for a joint news conference today at 9 a.m. at Hasbro Children's Hospital. They're going to make an announcement that will, quote, significant plans, unquote, for the future of healthcare in Rhode Island.
Any speculation as to what they're going to be talking about?
Well, I already thought they already had a mutual agreement anyway.
Well, they somewhat do
The
because
Brown
it's
med students
right,
go
it's a
to
teaching
Lifespan.
school.
Yeah.
So
A spokesperson for Lifespan said the goal is to, quote, strengthen top quality patient care, medical education, and biomedical research, unquote.
Well, I would like to hear that because I have a few pointers for them myself, but that's so another story for another
Yes.
day.
So, are they going to build another hospital? Are they going to increase what they've already do with Brown University? That must be part of it. So I don't know what the announcement is going to be. They haven't let me in on the ground floor on
I
it.
thought they also had, and I may be incorrect, they may also be Brown students, but CNAs or potential
Okay.
CNAs from CCRI, I thought, because when my husband was in the Jane Brown side of it, there were students there, but I didn't know if Brown also does that level. Like, do you know what I mean? Different schools do different things.
Mhm.
I didn't know if they also did that level CNA training
I don't know.
or if it was CCRI.
I always heard it was CCRI, and Brown was doctors, and registered nurses were Rhode Island College.
Well, it wasn't registered nurse.
Okay.
It was CNAs.
All right, so, but I always thought each school had their little
They all
niche.
have their niche. Yeah,
So maybe it is just doctors at Brown.
could be. Yeah.
I don't know.
Are they going to broadcast the announcement, or?
Well, it's a news conference, so I don't know. I'm sure 10 and 12 and 6 will be there. Will they break in on to do the announcement? I don't know. But
Well, would they get advance info to make it worthy of breaking in?
see, they might
do
might
that.
get that. Usually, how that works, they would get it around quarter of.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
here's a press
This
release
is
of
what we're
we're going to
doing.
say, and then they'll have to make
Yeah.
a call. Oh, this is big, or this is we'll record
Right,
it and
right.
it'll be on the 12 o'clock news.
Exactly.
So you won't know until it happens.
Okay.
So just a little something to keep in the back of your mind. So you enjoying the heat?
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely loving the heat. All right, Sue.
I I have put my hair up for the first time in 3 years because it hasn't been long enough to do, and right now
Alright.
it's on a wing and a prayer. Just saying.
It looks
At least
great.
it's not windy, so I think I'll be able to hold it together. You know what? I don't let the heat get in my head
Okay.
because I'm in and out of my car all day long. That's my job,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have time to cool off when you're stopping. I mean, you know,
Oh, yeah, I
you
do
know,
the same thing,
business
yeah.
to business to business. So I just try not to let it get in my head. It bothers me more when I'm in the house because I hate having to run the AC so high,
Yeah.
and yet I also hate being sweaty while I'm trying to do housework, cleaning, you know, whatever. So I just try not to let it get in my head.
You always say, well, just don't think about it.
Well, yeah,
Okay,
you can
that
try
works
that,
to some extent.
but I will say that down by the water yesterday was wonderful.
Like by the ocean? You mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Because if you looked at the maps
Yeah.
for the heat advisory and et cetera,
Mhm.
so the coast was not in that. So, but
They are now.
but the
Yeah.
traffic to get there
Oh, it must've been
yesterday
outrageous,
because
yeah.
of Juneteenth.
Yeah, holiday.
So
yesterday.
we got there okay because I always detour. There's a big sign that says how long it takes to get to Newport, how
Right.
long it takes to get to Narragansett. The how long it takes to get to Narragansett usually says, I think 13 is the least it will say. That's based on the recommended speed. We'll
Okay.
just say that.
The speed limit, yeah.
I've seen it at 14. I've seen it at 17 minutes to
All
get
right.
there. Yesterday was 34. And that is right where I detour out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a huge difference. People said it took 2 hours to get there on the news last night.
I was hearing yesterday, this is Massachusetts, don't go to Massachusetts beaches, not because the beaches are closed because of bacteria or sharks or things like that. Is the point, the part is there's no more parking spaces.
Right.
There's nowhere for you to go.
Yep. And that ended up happening yesterday.
Yeah,
I-
I'm sure it did.
The beach that I go to is not a state beach. It's so the entry fee is more than what the state beaches are.
Okay.
There were a line of cars because if you start at, I'm just going to say Narragansett, then you keep going to Scarborough, and then and everything's
Keep going right
closed,
down the
and then
line,
you keep
yeah.
going. Roger Wheeler,
Yep.
you know,
All the way to
beach is
Galilee,
closed,
yeah.
closed. East
East
Matunic,
yeah.
And then they keep going. So the next beach is a town beach.
Yeah.
And there was a line of
Line to get in.
cars and they wouldn't let them in. A car had to leave before they could let one.
Well, right.
That's
yeah.
how they did it.
You could go to the splash pad at World War II
Oh,
Memorial
of course,
Park.
you sure could.
That would have been great.
And a lot of people are.
Good.
They and we
Oh, I
saw
bet
that
you
in
the
the-
place
we
was
saw that
packed
in the, in
yesterday.
the newspaper yesterday.
Yep.
How you beating the heat? 2 women. I'm going to the splash pad every single day.
Yep.
Good.
Because one,
Just
it's
take a
free.
chair, put it out
Put it
there.
underneath the shower. Just there we go.
What are
Have
you
your
doing
have,
to?
have your little bottle of water?
Right?
Good to go.
What are you doing to beat the heat?
Well, basically,
You're working
because
here.
I'm here. It's air conditioned here, air conditioned in the car, and then when I have my other job at Polar Park, it's air conditioned in the press box. So I'm relatively cool every place I go.
At
Well-
what park?
Polar Park, get it?
Is that the one up in
It's in
the
Worcester.
town we never refer to, north of the state line?
That's it.
The thieves who stole our.
Thieves.
Okay.
Should I explain it to you again? How it was?
I know, right?
Yeah.
How they
Yeah.
were kicked out and not. And they're not the
right.
thieves.
Right. They have.
Oh, there's
They
people
have
like you
our
that just will
team.
never believe.
They have our team, and we have nothing. Okay. Doesn't that sound like a theft to you? Yeah.
No, I think you have to
no.
look at the reasoning. But I will say this: I did think of this morning, yesterday, because I said last time I was here, I believe we were sitting here sweating, and David was putting a fan in the window.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, that fan's not gonna do it. And
He's
there
got a-
we have an air conditioner.
He's
So-
got his schedule of time.
Yep.
And the air conditioners go in on Father's Day weekend.
Is that the schedule?
That's the schedule of time.
I put mine in when they when they report, excuse me, that it's going to be like 80 plus. That's when I put them in my windows.
How was
I-
your Father's Day?
Uneventful.
Uneventful.
Uneventful, which is great.
Oh.
Nothing planned, and I was asked. It's funny when Mother's Day comes around, I got to do all the planning,
It's always the way.
and when Father's Day come around, they wait till Father's Day. Okay, now what do you want to do? Now I got to plan my own Father's Day. Okay, I planned it. Nothing.
That's
Gotta
not
s- gotta s-
fair.
Gotta sit here like a slug.
It's not fair.
I know it's not. Yes, Bob.
My Father's Day. A couple of weeks ago, my wife and I go to some an event, and there's a very nice lady there who we've known for years, and she says, "You know, I told my husband that after 45 years of marriage, I was no longer going to be cooking. I was going to leave it to him." And the husband is standing there next to her and says, "I'll do anything for my wife. She's so wonderful." And I turn to my wife and I say, "I have 5 more years left because we're only married 40 years. I get a Father's Day gift.
Ah.
It's a cookbook. It has a note on it. It says practice."
I know.
Yeah,
it's not
it's
right.
not the same.
It
Well,
No,
you
it's not.
couldn't even find, so for Mother's Day, you have cards to daughter, daughter-in-law, first mom,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like mom, you're just like a mom to me, everything. For Father's Day,
Not
I
the
was
same
trying
kind.
to find a card for my son's first Father's Day.
Oh,
that did.
I've never seen those.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
they had them for first Mother's Day.
Um,
Then I tried to buy a balloon because I don't know, it's like parsley on a meal. Have a balloon with a
All right.
card and a gift. You gotta have a balloon. Nothing for Happy Father's Day, and
nope, you're right. I don't see those
there's
either.
there's nothing. So we for us, of course, my husband's dad, plans just kept rotating and changing, and next thing you know, everything that was supposed to happen flipped, changed, turned into this. I took Ron to the beach, came home. We had a cookout with my daughter, her husband, and the kids. Our son took us. Well, he didn't take us. Met us at Colt State Park, so we had a nice picnic out there. It was great. So we did 2 separate Father's Days, Saturday and Sunday, in a nutshell.
I know we got to take a break, but I did see something. It was online, kind of like a Dear Ann, Dear Abby thing.
Yeah.
And a woman wrote in to whoever the person giving advice was, and just says, "I can't believe it. My husband asked me what I asked my husband what he wanted to do on Father's Day, and he said he wanted a full day where he didn't have to deal with the kids, just to himself. And now she was wondering if she should divorce him because of that attitude.
Wow.
And most people wrote in because you could comment on these things. That's exactly what women ask for on Mother's Day. And they usually, well, sometimes they get it.
They don't get it.
Well, sometimes they do. But the fathers never write in and say, oh, should I divorce my wife because that's what she wants?
Right? Oh, that's a nonsense
That's
one.
pretty extreme.
That's nonsense.
All right, we're going to take a break here at Coffee and more coming your way. And comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
Have you heard of Scott McGee with Remax Properties? He's been selling real estate in Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the last 17 years, and you can see that he loves what he does. Scott, as well as his team, take pride in what they call the fair and honest team. No gimmicks. And no, they're not buying your house if it doesn't sell, etc. Just fair and honest real estate. Scott personally works with tons of sellers and buyers and specializes in residential properties as well as commercial, and he's always very fair and offers super competitive rates. Remember, this is probably the biggest move in dollars that you will ever spend or receive. You want to go with a trusted and experienced agent. Scott is fair, honest, and modest, always puts the clients first, and he also dealt with literally almost any situation. You really need to look at your real estate needs as a business. You want to pay and get the right money now so that you're not paying for it later. Trust me. So why not give Scott McGee a call at 401-639-2906. That's 401-639-2906.
It is Coffee and on ONAM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Bob Lauder and Sue Tessier-McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley Calling Times. And Sue, time for first message from, I was supposed to warn you about this.
Well, you kind of did.
From the,
like,
for the
do
newspaper.
you see me with any notes in front of me?
No. It's all in your head, Sue.
Good morning, everybody. Once again, I keep repeating myself because people still go to our old office. We are at 154 Main Street, across from City Hall. We do have different hours. We're typically from 8 to 3. Should you need anything, however, outside of those hours, you can either call my cell phone at 487-4136, or you can call Christina at 767-8503. You would need to pick up a paper. We're mainly open, but of course now you're looking at vacations coming, and if Christina is on vacation, I only go in first thing in the morning. So should you need something, you can call me the day before. I can meet you at the office in the morning and get you what you need. Again, 487-4136.
All right, Sue, thank you very much. We have a note to get to, 766-1240, if you want to call one in. This one's a little on the lengthy side, but there's so much to be said about the direction of today's America, and unfortunately, it's not good. We still have so much segregation with our foreigners who have now become American citizens. Blacks, Asians, Hispanics is something that we cannot come to a common ground with. There will always be differences. Violence is a resulting fear. But the inflection with these migrants has weakened our democracy even more. These people are mostly uneducated and pose a danger with the prevalent drug cartels. We, being United States-born Americans, deserve much more respect and protection, and we ain't getting it. That's it.
I don't necessarily agree with the caller.
Well, you don't have to agree, Bob. That's fine. That's your choice.
Oh, you'd anticipate I wasn't going to agree with the caller.
I didn't think you were anyway.
I think that migrants coming into the country do provide some benefits to the overall nation, part of it being that many of them take lower paying jobs, and that there's a need for people to do lower paying jobs, such as the processing plant that was down in one of the southern states that had to close down when most of its staff was arrested by the immigration service because they were illegal aliens, and the company had to be closed for a significant period of time until it could find more people to work in it. I think that the migrants also provide work in the agricultural industry that is not being otherwise provided by people within the nation. So I think there's benefits to the country. I think that the country should be trying to determine whether or not immigrants coming in are related to drug cartels, but I would think that the analysis of many of the people coming across the border and violating the laws by coming across the border are not posing a threat through drug cartels.
All right. Any thoughts, Sue? Just
Not really.
Okay.
I get what Bob's saying because I can remember having a conversation with a woman that owned a gardening / landscape. So she had produce available for purchase, but she also had a landscape company, and she went through exactly that. And these people that run these businesses get very discouraged because, and then they're also looked upon as one of the bad guys because they're allowing it. My personal is, if somebody's going to come into this country, you need to do it the right way. And what I mean by the right way, I mean calling somebody an illegal alien versus an immigrant, it's two different things, even though they equal the same person, if that makes sense. It's illegal. That's the problem. And if they come into this country and they're doing these jobs that others don't want to do or can't do, because keeping in mind where many of these people come from, temperatures are higher, it's warmer, it's hotter. They're able to do the things that others don't want to do, you know, be out in the heat. But this woman also had to close her business because she couldn't find help, people that wanted to do those jobs.
when I had to this past year, nope, it was last year, I had to have my roof replaced. It wasn't my idea. I wasn't too happy about this. The insurance company said, hey, we went out there, we took a look at it, we took pictures, and we've decided you need to have your roof replaced. Now you have an option. Get it replaced, and everything will be fine, or don't get it replaced, or we drop you as a client. Those are my
Are you
two
able to ask what
options.
basis? What are they basing that
They
on?
based it on an inspection that they took, on the pictures they took, and they said it looks worn and it should be replaced. And those are my two options: get it replaced, or we're dropping you, and then go someplace else and try to get insurance on your house, based on the bad roof. Not that it was bad, but anyway, the point was, we went with replacing the roof, and the workers that were on there, none of them spoke English.
No.
But I'm thinking they had, I would say being a roofer is a pretty good high-paying job, because I wouldn't want to do this.
Right.
I saw what they were doing. Oh my gosh, just to climb up and rip off the old roof
And they
and
do it
put-
in such an efficient freaking way. It's amazing.
And I asked the guy when he came out to take a look. He said, you know, what it's going to cost and things like that. And he took a look at it. He goes, oh yeah, this will be done in a day. In a day?
Yeah.
Oh sure. Done, the whole thing off, new one on, cleaned up, everything will be done in a day? Absolutely. Okay. And so we did it, and they were done in a day.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm thinking these guys must get paid pretty well to do this kind of work, because it's a skilled job, one, and who does want to do this?
Yeah, right.
Well, the fact they were speaking foreign language, Spanish, doesn't necessarily mean that they had come into the country
No, it doesn't. You're right.
illegally. But yes, I think that I understand people being concerned that there's a large number of people crossing the southern border. But I think that there's a need for a lot of those people in this nation. And I don't see it as the major threat that the caller may have thought that it was.
I agree, and I think that the work that the people that are crossing the border are looking to do are very similar to this. Hardworking, manual type jobs, working with your hands, out in the elements all the time. Farming in different places, harvesting stuff and like that, and doing roofing and other very manually jobs that require a skill. You just can't show up and say, "Okay, I'll help." What do you know what to do? nothing. So, no, you gotta know what you're doing, and so you don't fall off the roof. That was another concern.
Yeah.
It's like I said they all, I asked beforehand before I even met any of these people. I asked, you're insured,
Right.
Right? And he said, oh yeah, just in case someone falls, it's on
yeah.
us.
Yeah, right. Well, it's
Phew.
funny. We
Okay.
had a roof replaced maybe 25 years ago, and nothing like they do today.
Yeah.
Today, it's a one-day deal.
Yeah.
This took days,
Okay.
and they all spoke English. That's all I'm going to say. And you know what they did? We had a big storm scheduled. They did not cover with a tarp, knowing this storm was coming. I mean, this
Wow.
was the average person knew the storm was coming. Water went from attic, third floor, second floor, first floor.
All the way down.
I am out on the road. I remember like it was yesterday. I'm
Yeah.
out on the road heading to Plymouth to pick up a rental. And I got a call from the first floor neighbors saying, something's going on up your house. No, it was the roof.
Yeah.
And it went all the way down. So now it needed
More work.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Whoa.
gosh.
They don't do that today. Today they kick it out.
We'll get it. We'll
I've
get it
seen
done.
them.
Okay. All right, we're gonna take a break here in the Coffee and program. But we do have a guest that's coming in just a few minutes. We'll make that a surprise coming up. But Sue, time for your second message from the Blackstone Valley Call-in Times, please.
Oh, I thought you did a recording
Oh,
at
we,
some
we,
point.
well, we can.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So anyway, vacation time is coming. That doesn't mean you can't still get your newspaper. You can put a hold on your subscription. You can just call the office at 767-8522. You can put a hold on your delivery until you return from your vacation. Or you can even call us, 487-4136, 767-8503, and we can put your papers aside for you there should you be concerned about missing your paper.
Very good, Sue. And more of Coffee and coming up. Stick around. It's time for the weather forecast, which is being sponsored by Bank of America.
The National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory for hot temperatures and an air quality alert for high elevated ozone levels for today. Partly sunny skies today with a high of 95. Heat index values in Woonsocket as high as 104. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies, 69 for an overnight low. Friday's weather, scattered showers and thunderstorms are 50% likely afternoon time. Partly sunny skies with a high of 85. Calm winds becoming northeast in the afternoon. New rainfall amounts of maybe a quarter of an inch are possible except higher in a possible thunderstorm. Friday night, additional amounts of rain, overnight low of 65. Saturday's weather, a 40% chance of a shower in the morning, and then mostly cloudy skies for the rest of the day with a high of 81. Sunday, a chance of showers early, then mostly cloudy skies with a high of 87. Monday, mostly cloudy and 85. Tuesday, sunshine and 86. And next Wednesday, sunshine and 89.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street with sunny skies, we are at 85 degrees. Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America N.A. copyright 2024.
Join us at the Honey Shop Academy and embark on a journey of discovery, healing, and creativity. Whether you seek solace in meditation, rejuvenation through sound, artistic expression through paint, or spiritual insights through cards, we invite you to explore, learn, and grow in our welcoming and nurturing space. Embrace the magic within and unlock your true potential at the Honey Shop Academy. Now, it's right in the same location as the Honey Shop store, actually another portion of the building, the former CMM picture frame. And here's what's coming up. You have to buy your tickets in advance. On Friday, the 21st of June, 6 to 8 p.m., it's paint night with Angela's Magical Palette. Then on Saturday, the 22nd, from 10 in the morning till noon, it's Moon Energy Meditation. Join us for the meditational experience that aligns with the mystical energies of the moon, water, Reiki, and intuitive card readings. And then on Sunday the 23rd at 2 sessions, 11 to 12 and 12:30 to 1:30, Healing Sounds Bath. at the Honey Shop Academy, the former CMM picture frame, same building as the Honey Shop store. Call 766-1488. That's 401-766-1488 for tickets or purchase them from the Facebook event ticket link. The Honey Shop. Say, let's see what's going on for entertainment this weekend at Chan's Fine Oriental Dining on Main Street in Woonsocket. Well, tomorrow night, Friday, June the 21st at 8 p.m., it's Monster Mike Welsh. Tickets are $30 in advance, $35 at the door. Mike Welsh is a monster on the electric blues guitar. He's always playing with passion, intensity, and finesse. Celebrate excellent recording, nothing but time. Plus, welcome award-winning Gulf Coast recording artist, the amazing Monster Mike Welsh, Friday night at 8. Then on Saturday night, the 22nd at 8 p.m., if you've witnessed this cavalcade of talent before, then you know how entertaining it is. Join us for a great night of music and fun with the popular Chan's All-Stars. Jimmy Two Suits Capone leads the way to a fabulous night of music and entertainment. Half the fun of this show is watching the musicians having a great time themselves. Always fresh, always spontaneous, always a great night. Featuring special guest vocalist, Queen of the Boston Blues, Tony Lynn Washington, the amazing Willie J. Laws, guitar and vocal, Eddie Shear, Love Dogs, drum and vocal, and Johnny Bluehorn Morricone, trumpet and vocal, Johnny Juxo, who's keys and vocal, Bobby Breeze Tribben, Sven Larson on the bass. Leading the way is, of course, Jimmy Two Suits Capone. Reserve now and get those tickets for $30 instead of waiting for $35 at the door. And the way you do it is call Chan's at 765-1900 and reserve your tickets for Friday night or Saturday night. At Chan's, it's going to be hot inside in air-conditioned comfort at Chan's.
We've unlocked the vaults, and we're replaying Casey Kasem's American Top 40, the 70s. This week is from June 28, 1975. That's when Linda Ronstadt asked, "When will I be loved?" Glenn Campbell dressed like a rhinestone cowboy. Van McCoy did The Hustle, and the Bee Gees were jive talking. You'll hear those songs and all the top 40 hits from June 28, 1975, right here on American Top 40, the 70s.
And it's Coffee Ann here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan. We're being joined at the Coffee Ann table. Special guest Ron Blaze is here. How are you, Ron?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good. We're going to be talking about the Blackstone Valley Amateur Radio Club event that's coming up this weekend. Sue Tesser McKenzie is here with us, and Bob Lauder's here. Bob, it's time for first message from your law office, please.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. Just to emphasize the chagrin which Joe must face in his younger brother's victory on the prediction of the Boston Celtics game, I'd like to discuss two cases in which the Celtics are mentioned. The first case is that of United States versus Wilson. This is a federal drug case, and it took place about 35 years ago. In February of 1989, undercover detectives in Columbus, Ohio, purchased crack cocaine in a house on Gilbert Street. Thereafter, members of the police SWAT team entered the house and found Mr. Wilson lying on the floor with $1,000 in cash in one of his socks. Mr. Wilson and several other people were arrested. Upon being led to the patrol car, one of the officers asked if anyone wanted their coats. It gets cold in Columbus, Ohio in February. Mr. Wilson said that his green Boston Celtics jacket was draped over a chair. The police went to retrieve the jacket and found it next to a table, on the top of which was more crack, more money, and a gun. Mr. Wilson was charged with multiple drug offenses and carrying a firearm in relation to a drug trafficking crime, and he was convicted on all the charges. Thereafter, on appeal, Mr. Wilson argued that his attorney had failed to provide effective legal counsel because the attorney did not attempt to exclude the evidence supporting the allegation that the Boston Celtics jacket was found next to the gun and was his. The Federal Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit disagreed. The court found that the failure of the attorney to attempt to suppress the evidence of the ownership of the Boston Celtics jacket was not prejudicial, because several of the other defendants arrested in the raid also testified that the jacket belonged to Mr. Wilson. The moral of the case, if Mr. Wilson had not been so loyal to the Boston Celtics and did not want to lose that jacket, the evidence may never have been presented to the jury. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please call my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the
Okay, that
disclaimer-
one, we have to give that one to Bob because it made us laugh. That was one of the best ones. Because some of them I get lost.
Right.
Oh, wait till the next one. The next one's so confusing, even I get lost.
Well, it's not his loyalty to the Celtics. It's just that it was probably his only winter coat,
I don't know.
and he wanted just to be warm.
It sounded like loyalty to the Celtics to me,
Well, all right.
which
Oh,
is different from the loyalty of that guy who went to Worcester. But we can get back to that some other time.
No. Anyway, before we get to Ron, I just want to mention my daughter had a milestone yesterday, and usually your 18-year-olds don't have their first milestones, but she had it. She's been driving for 2 years, and last night she got her first flat tire.
Oh, no.
Really?
Like,
Now,
Congratulations.
Did she call Dad to come and fix it, or
and she called me.
y'all?
Dad, where are you? Where am I? I'm driving home from Worcester. It's 10:30
Okay.
at night. Where are you? I'm actually on 146. I said I'm at least 20 minutes away. What do? I said I have given you a AAA card.
Okay.
And so she goes, "Oh, here it is." And I said, "Now what do? There's a phone number on the card. Give them a call, and they'll ask you questions, and we'll go from there."
Yeah, but
now
it-
I'll drive right to where you are. Now, lucky she was in my hometown, so that was good. So I'll go and I'll get there, and I'll probably get there before the truck gets there. So hang tight. Help is on the way.
But do you know how good it must feel to know that people in your family depend on you? And in a crisis, you're
No,
the first
no,
one
I'm the
they
first
call.
one to
Yeah,
go. I'm
but
the first one to go
some-
to.
Yeah, but sometimes kids in the family, as I can quickly explain, my son has to go to a funeral that he knew was happening a week ago. Called me yesterday while I'm at the beach to say, what color dress shirts do I have at home? And I said, I don't know, I'm not home, but I can check later. They're in the basement because I, package them up. Never mind, I'll have to go buy one because if they're in the basement, that means he'll have to wash it first. So I'm like, okay,
Oh, better to buy a clean
I'm
one.
out.
So AAA showed up, changed the tire, everything was fine.
Did they
And I
get
said-
there before you?
No, I got there before them.
Okay.
And I said, "This is not that it's a good thing, but one, I did tell her, one, you're going to have many more flat tires in your lifetime.
Yep.
This is just the first one. They're going to keep happening. And now you know what happens. And you call AAA for the very first time. You will have no trouble calling AAA the next time this happens." So there we go. Little life lesson. So we asked Ron to come in, and he comes in every year because it is field day for the Blackstone Valley Amateur Radio Club. It's your club's annual field day, and it's this weekend.
Absolutely. First, I'd like to say on behalf of the Blackstone Valley Amateur Radio Club, I'd like to thank WOON for allowing us to share the airwaves with you this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to invite your listeners to come discover the adventure, the skill, the challenges, and the joy of amateur or ham radio. They can do this by attending our annual field day, which will be held this Saturday, June 22nd, starting at 2 p.m. and continuing through Sunday, June 23rd at 2 p.m. We will be set up at the Situate Senior Center, the former Chop Miss Hill Inn, on Route 102. And regardless of the weather, we will be set up and running.
Mm-hmm.
So the field day is sponsored by the American Radio Relay League, which is amateur radio's national organization. It also coincides with this is our largest event of the year. And at its core, field day is an emergency preparedness exercise in which radio clubs and organizations throughout the nation test their readiness to provide emergency communication, simulating simulating a national emergency or natural disaster. As part of the exercise, excuse me, I'm sorry. My
Allergies are
allergies
killing you, huh?
are killing me right now, and I don't know why. We're in an air-conditioned room. But in any case, so as part of the exercise, we must employ our alternative power. We just can't plug into an outlet. So we must either use generators or solars because we're simulating an emergency.
So you
If
wouldn't have
everything went down,
electricity,
you
yeah.
wouldn't have an electricity.
Right.
So that's one of the things. One of the ideas of this field day is to see how prepared we are to
Mm-hmm.
set up these communications. So this year, ARL expects about 2,000 amateur radio clubs and organizations and about 40,000 hams operating in the United States and Canada to participate. So it's quite a thing. It's worldwide. You get contacts worldwide also. The field day highlights the science, the skill, and the service incorporated in amateur radio. So what will you see when you get to our site? Well, first of all, we're going to have several radio stations operating simultaneously. And visitors that come, we will have hams right there, and we will give you a tour of the sites to show you the different operations and the different radio techniques that are being used. So for anyone with a curiosity about or an interest in, or who would like to learn what's involved in amateur radio, Field Day is an outstanding opportunity to see what ham radio is all about. To get through. One of the nice things about the Field Day is that visitors will not only be able to observe radio operations, but they will also have the opportunity to operate radios and to make contacts worldwide. The reason for this is that Field Day is basically the only time that the FCC permits an unlicensed individual to operate a radio. Well, no, you need a license. You
Right.
just can't set up a radio
And go.
and go. You have to pass a FCC license first, and then after that, then you can get on the air.
Right, so
So-
that's not just a CB radio. That's
Oh, this is not
completely
CB. This is
different.
completely different.
And that's
yes,
what.
yeah. There's no comparison.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, this is where I can sit at my radio, which we call where you have your radio. It's called a shack. We call it a shack.
Okay.
And I can get on there, and I may hear someone from Japan. I may hear
Yep.
someone from Africa. I may hear someone from South America, and then I make a contact with them. So it's worldwide. It's worldwide. Now,
Did you get on the other night and try to contact someone in Dallas and just to laugh?
no, I didn't. No, I didn't get that, but I
Say,
understand
I
what
would
you're
do
saying. I had to get through. One of the things too I want to emphasize is that the people that want to try this, it's very simple. You know, the protocols are easy to master. It takes very little time, and there'll be an experienced ham is right there to guide you along.
Mhm.
And one of the thrills, I guess, or excitement I get from Field Day is watching some of these people send out a signal, and someone from way out in Europe or
Yeah,
someone else
gets
or in
back,
the United States get back to them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's the panic in their eyes. What do we do? What do I do? So it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
But and then you can see the elation on their face when this happens. So it's a wonderful way to learn about what ham radio is all about. And so we will be, as I said, we're going to have some demonstrations also. One of our members is going to have a kit building class.
Mhm.
Another member, he enjoys making contacts through satellite, so he's going to try to make some radio contacts using satellite, and that's quite a thing to see because he has a portable antenna. He uses his arm to try to reach the thing, and at the same time communicate with them.
Mhm.
And then another member is going to discuss WinLinks, and I didn't know what WinLinks was, to tell you the truth. So I looked it up, and what it is, it's a worldwide email service that uses radio pathways and not the internet. So you don't need the internet to do your emails.
Wow.
You get it through that. So he's going to have a demonstration like that also. So we have quite a few activities scheduled. As I said, we're going to have a tour.
Mhm.
Refreshments will be available, and actually you can get more information also. People get more information by going to our website, which is W1DDD. Let me repeat that: Whiskey 1 Delta 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 .org, and you'll find more information on Field Day and BVOC, our club. So I'm hoping that people will come out.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be warm, but not as warm as what we're getting right now.
Oh, yeah, it'll
And
drop
so-
down into the 80s.
Well, that'll be cool. That'll be cool. And to come learn how they can participate in worldwide communications right at their fingertips.
When you talk about being prepared for emergencies and you can't, plug into an outlet, are you finding that more and more of ham operators, are they using solar?
Oh, yes, they are. Portable. Portable,
yeah,
they use
that's what I
solar.
mean, yeah,
At
portable
home,
solar.
you get the electricity and so
Right.
forth. But you can use portable, absolutely.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, they have a situation now called Parks on the Air, where ham radio operators set up, all the different national and state parks. And so they have to get electricity, so some of them will probably use solar
Okay.
to get through. And then after that, it's really exploded. This started out as just a test thing to see how it would go, and
Yeah.
it has just exploded now. It's you get them from all. I mean, think of how many parks there are in the United States, and you have operators that enjoy going out. They call it remote. They go out and they go out in
Yeah.
the field, and they set up their radio station, and they send out, and people try to get as many parks as they can. So it's quite challenging.
Cool. All right, we're going to take a break here in the Coffee and program. So it's time for a second message from Bob Lauder and his law office. So let's pay attention, Sue, because this one's going to get complicated.
I know.
Go ahead, Bob.
Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. The second Boston Celtics related case I'd like to discuss with you this morning is almost as old as the first case. Excuse me. It goes back to 1994 and is known as the case as Mulford versus Mandingo. Mr. Mulford worked as a dishwasher in a restaurant. Miss Mandingo was employed as a cook. The cook was not scheduled to work on this particular day, but came to the restaurant around 9 p.m. to observe the cashing out procedure followed by the manager, in the hope of learning the skills to become a manager himself, and also to watch the end of a Boston Celtics playoff game on a television installed by the employees in the back room. After the game had concluded, and no reference is made in the case to the identity of the winning team, the dishwasher agreed to give the cook a ride home. Somehow, in the parking lot, while the dishwasher was backing his car out of a parking space, the cook fell off the hood of the vehicle and was injured. The cook filed a claim against the dishwasher, who was the driver of the vehicle. Before the trial, the driver of the vehicle filed a motion for summary judgment. That's a motion which claims that the facts and law are so compelling on one side that the case should be decided without further proceeding to trial. The driver argued that both the dishwasher and the cook were co-employees of the restaurant, and the accident occurred in the parking lot of the restaurant, and therefore both parties were at that location as a result of their employment, and the injured party should have filed a workers' compensation claim against the restaurant. But in any event, the court should impose the doctrine that co-employees are immune from any claims for damages arising from the acts of another co-employee, and therefore the trial court should dismiss the claim of the injured party brought against the driver. The trial court agreed and granted the motion. The injured party appealed the decision to the Appeals Court of Massachusetts. The Appeals Court began its decision by noting the elements which would have to be established in order to invoke a workers' compensation co-employee immunity defense. The court wrote that generally parking lot accidents between fellow employees fall within the co-employee's immunity rule. However, to secure such protection, the defendant driver would have to prove that he was acting in the course of his employment to secure the protection which he claimed. The court ruled that when an employee acts for two purposes, one of which would make the injury compensable and the other which would not, for the purposes of establishing that co-employee's immunity, it must be established, A, if the acts were not completely directed by the employer, it must appear from the evidence that the employee would have acted as he did even in the private purposes had not existed, or in the alternative, that the employee would have not acted in the absence of a job-related purpose. In this case, it could not be established that the reason the cook was at the restaurant that night had any job-related purposes. He may have been there to learn the closing procedures, but he was there to watch the Celtics game on television, and neither of these were job-related. Consequently, the driver of the vehicle which inflicted the injuries was not protected by the co-employee's immunity doctrine. The appeals court ruled that the case should return to the trial court for a trial on its merits. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please contact my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer: the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
I still want to know why was he on the hood of the car.
Well, Sue, you're spot on. 'Cause that's what I'm thinking. You sat on the hood of the car voluntarily. So
Right.
because you got injured, that's on you,
That's
and not on
you, you
anybody
idiot.
else.
That was based
In the
on
whole
your
case,
own
there's
stupidity.
no reference further to why he was on the hood
Yeah.
or what that had to do. And, I
If
think
I
the
was
same
on the
thing.
jury, if that
Yeah.
case went to to a jury
Right.
pool, whatever you want to call it, I'd be sitting there going, why was he on the hood?
Why are you on the
Why
car?
was he on
Why
the
are you
hood?
sitting there? Did someone place you there
Right.
against your will? Probably not. All right. Good stuff, Bob. Thanks. More Coffee and coming up. Stay tuned.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
We're back on Coffee and thanks for joining us. Joe Callan here, along with Bob Lauder, Sue Tesher McKenzie, and we're talking with Ron Blaze. He's with the Blackstone Valley Amateur Radio Club. They're having the club's annual field day. They have it every year, and it's this Saturday, January 22nd and Sunday 23rd on Route 102 at the Scituate Senior Center out there in Scituate, the former Chop Mist Hill Inn. And are you there for the whole 24 hours?
Yes, we are.
But you personally?
Not me.
No, okay.
I have to come home.
All right.
I would like to make a suggestion.
Okay.
That visitors, please do not arrive at the site before 2 p.m. because we always have to make some last-minute adjustments and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And also do not arrive after 1 p.m. on Sunday because we have to
People
start
breaking down.
breakdown and we have to be out of there. So it may be a little rushed. So if they get there before 1 p.m., it would be advised.
Okay. If I remember it correctly, isn't there like you get like a badge or a little recognition of some sort if you as the ham radio operator contact someone in all 50 states?
Yes. Yeah, there's a number of awards that you can get in amateur. That's one of the nice facets of the hobby. There's so many different activities and rewards that you can get. For example, you can get what they call a DXCC certificate, which is anyone who contacts 100 countries. You contact and confirm that you've talked to someone in 100 countries. What Joe was referring to is the Worked All States certificate, where you have worked and confirmed a station in each of the 50 states.
Even
And-
the state you're in,
Yes.
you have to do one. If you're
Yes.
from Rhode Island, you
Yes.
have to find someone in another
Yes.
part of Rhode Island too.
Now, there are some hams who have done it on several modes of operation. Some hams have done worked all states in the XCC on voice, which is SSB, CW, Morse code,
Okay.
as well as RIDI,
What's RIDI?
radio teletype.
Wow.
And now they have the more electronic ones also, but I'm not too familiar with the electronic ones. So you have some people very dedicated and very. Cool. Also, what's one of the interesting things about the hobby? Also, they have expeditions. There are some radio locations listed with ARL in the world that are just little rock outcrops in the middle of the Pacific. And so some people will go up to these islands, and some will go to Antarctica or right off the coast of Antarctica. And they call that an DX expedition. And everybody wants to get one of those, get that contact. And they make thousands of contacts when they set up through.
Wow.
So that's another challenge of the hobby. Some people communicate by bouncing their signal off the moon, and they get through there. So there's so many different facets that you can do in this hobby. It's just so many challenges. That's one of the wonderful things about the hobby.
Where can you learn Morse code nowadays?
You just sit there and go through. They have programs that you can listen to, and then it's just practice. You just have to get your mind to think that when you hear a certain
The dots and
did-I-did,
dashes.
then you know that you're associated with a letter.
Yeah.
Takes a little while, but it can be done. But there are programs with it too. I think one of the interesting things about Morse code is you used to have to know Morse code to get a license, but they did away with that requirement. And what they're finding out is right now Morse code is more popular than ever. because people want to learn it and use it. And plus, it's a much more efficient way of getting your signals out rather than voice. So it's quite a thing to get through there.
All
Remember
right.
my dad at the turn of the last century, when he was building crystal sets and stuff like that, he learned Morse code, but I didn't know how people
being
did it
used.
nowadays.
I just,
Right.
for the heck of it, Googled Morse code.
Right?
There are many ways you can learn it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even going to read them. I just Googled it. Just
Wow. Okay.
There,
Yeah.
there you go.
Look it up.
It's just practice, Bob, to tell you the truth. It's just practice.
Right.
Just constantly go
Learn
through,
it
listen.
and then practice.
We
right.
have an experienced ham who runs a Morse code class, and he says just do it 20 minutes a day.
You
Don't
pick
go
it
over
up.
just do 20 minutes a day. It takes a while, but just do it because you have to know instinctively that dit da is a.
Yeah.
You can't say well that, and you can't repeat dit da. You just have to listen to
just
the
know it.
sound
Yep. Yep.
and then to go through. But people do it.
Wow.
So having this club day, it's nationwide. So going down and contacting someone else in another part of the United States will be relatively easy, since you're all doing it.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few stations on the air,
Right,
but
yeah.
but the thing is, you still got to get your antenna tuned so that you can hear them.
Well, that's right.
A lot of times you want, and depends on the band conditions also. The atmosphere changes all the time.
All right.
So there's some times where everything is clear, comes through, and there are other times where it's very frustrating because you can't make any contacts. It's just not getting through. So that's one of the nice facets of the hobby. It's challenging.
All right. Well, we've run out of time, so thank you very much for listening in. The Blackstone Valley Amateur Radio Club, their club's annual field day is this Saturday and Sunday. Starts Saturday, June 22nd, 2 p.m., lasts until Sunday, 23rd at 2 p.m. Takes place at the Scituate Senior Center, the former Chop Mist Hill Inn. It's Route 102 in Scituate. All right, Ron, thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, have a great weekend, and I hope it goes very well for you.
I hope so too.
All right, Tessie McKenzie, thanks for coming in as well.
Thank you. Have a great rest of the week.
All right, and Bob Lauder, let's go Celtics, right? We're going to Boston tomorrow, right? Here we go.
Thanks for inviting me. Have
Hey,
a great week.
If he's going to give you tickets to Red Sox, I think you should give him some to Woo Sox.
Some tube socks? Sure, I
No,
could.
tickets to Woo Sox.
Oh, Woosah. Oh, sure. I can swing those, Bob.
No.
No?
No.
Are you
no.
sure?
The traders, no.
Nah.
No.
I'll get your food.
Nah.
No, all right, anyway. All right, that'll do it for the show. Thanks for listening in, everyone. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Duty Remembers coming your way at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now,